We are here at this beautiful establishment in a predominantly historically African-American part of town, from what I've learned. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay,
at
excellent.
one point it was most of Front Street and King Street were black-owned businesses.
Okay.
That changed during Jim Crow, though, because Georgetown was 85% black, and that is why Georgetown had the first black person in the House of Representatives in Congress is from Georgetown, South Carolina, and that's Joseph H. Rainey.
Yes.
So,
and I tell you about Rainey, we were in Bermuda 2 years ago, right? And we were at his barbershop because he opened up a barbershop in Bermuda and then came back to South Carolina and of course got into politics. And then not only that, but I learned this prior to me going to Bermuda at the Rice Museum, which is of course right up the street. So it's just crazy how all of this interconnects for sure.
I'm a little jealous you got to go. But that's all right. I met his great-granddaughter, so that's
nice.
Good.
You got a great leg up on me for sure. So tell us, when did the museum get started, and give us the concept and some of the good stuff that's here.
Okay. So the museum was founded in 1997 by my parents, Andrew and Vermel Rodriguez. They wanted to advocate, educate, and preserve Gullah Geechee culture. And this is one of the ways that they thought they could do that. They were actively involved in getting the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor developed. And this was one of those things that they started doing during that period of time. Our museum, we feature story quilts in the museum, and our story quilts all tell the stories of the Gullah Geechee people.
Yeah, and here's one right here.
Here we have our Harriet Tubman quilt, because Harriet Tubman has a connection to Georgetown, South Carolina, and also she has a huge connection to the Gullah Geechee community. To her connection in Georgetown, though, it's through her nephew, James Bawley. He was one of the first people she ever rescued. She also helped get him educated.
Wow.
So during Reconstruction, James Bawley moved to Georgetown, South Carolina, and lived in this house in the quilt. This house is still there. There's a historical marker in front of it. James Bawley was an educator. He worked with the Freedmen's Bureau. He had a newspaper called the Georgetown Planet. He was on the board of trustees of the University of South Carolina.
Really?
Yes, and during that period of time, during Reconstruction, they had a 90% black student body. The black student body now is only 10%. He was also in state government, so he was actively involved in the community in Georgetown, South Carolina.
I had no
And
clue.
then Harriet's other connection is during the Civil War, she came down to work and help the Union Army and help the newly freed Gullah Geechee. And she did that. She was a cook, a nurse, a scout, a spy. But the most amazing thing that she did, she led a raid called the Combahee River Raid. And in that raid, they were able to rescue over 750 Gullah Geechee people.
Amazing.
So that is why the Gullah Geechee people honor her so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is her connection.
So who?
And this quilt was made by Julia House.
Okay, Julia House.
And a quilting circle here at the museum. I can't mention the quilting circle without mentioning all the names. There's Joyce Picott, Ethel Bellamy, Julia Brighton, Johnny Dees, Naomi Emily, Janet Graham, Judy Graham, Veronica Gibbs, Edna Holmes, Julia House, Alfreda Johnson, Bernardine Keith, Audrey Smith Perlow, who did the centerpiece. Okay. Here was done by her. Okay. I'm mentioned, but I didn't actually touch that quilt. See right Deborah Stover, Donna Wilson, Cecilia Ragg, and Evelyn Ragg. Okay. With the quilt, I came up with the concept, and my sister Julia House designed it.
Okay.
So that's why I mentioned.
That's what's up. That's what's up. As it relates to your upbringing and being taught of the Gullah community as well as heritage, is this something that was a mainstay in your home?
Oh yeah, my parents were huge. My parents knew that the school system were not going to teach us about African American history, and they definitely weren't going to teach us about Gullah history. So my parents taught us from a young age. We had, you know, anything that they could teach us about our African American or Gullah Geechee history, they did.
Most definitely.
And it was very important for in our family.
Okay. And so this not only serves as a space of education, but also their local artists that has their things.
Yes. So right now we are featuring the artwork of Awesome Jeremy. He's a young man from Georgetown, South Carolina, that has moved to Oklahoma. So we have his work. We also have Babe's Creations here. Mm-hmm. She did this beautiful Harriet Tubman quilt. This is all done by hand. And then we also have her Hallelujah here. So we're featuring those. We're also featuring our lovely Slavery, who does art and jewelry with cotton.
Yes,
good
sir.
to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you, Frederick.
Yep.
Oh man.
We have a mutual connection with Brother Wally Cathcart up in Rock Hill, South Carolina, a Negro League baseball player as well as a farmer. So I wanted to talk about some of the books that you have here and some of the artifacts and pictures that you have here. I see some things about Gullah craftsmen as well as some of the Black Seminoles, John Horace, of course. This corner, what does this represent? The talking drum?
So this is my Black Seminoles is about our ancestors that escaped their enslavement by running south to Florida.
Fort Mose,
Fort Mose. Yes, so Fort Mose. And so they would run south. The Spanish had a policy: if you converted to Catholicism and protected their border, you could stay and be free. So that was Fort Mose was the first free Black community, but it was not self-governed. Okay. The first self-governed Black community was Mitchellville in Hilton Head.
Yes.
And we have the talking drum here because the drum was really important in our culture. And I like it because there is a revolt called the Stono Rebellion, and they used drums for that. And that's why actually the Stono Rebellion here in Charleston is the reason why drums were banned in the United States.
Yes, it was.
So that's why we have the drums here. Yeah. We have the bellows here because we talk a little bit about Black craftsmanship, because there's this thing where they seem to think that the Africans did not arrive skilled, and that is so false. We were brick masons, carpenters, blacksmiths. We were boat makers. We were incredibly skilled before we even arrived.
For sure.
Here's one of our most famous blacksmiths, Philip Simmons. He's world renowned because of his beautiful gates. So these aren't his bellows, but I just wanted we wanted to show some bellows and stuff.
For sure.
And then these are right here. This is something that would be used to make bricks, and that's a piece of carpentry work that would use for carpentry. So
now, when these items, is this something that has been passed down from families, or did people in the community donate?
So we're a mix of things. Some of them are my parents had collected, and then some new items were donated in recently, because we have this beautiful sweetgrass basket that was donated to us. So
yeah.
yes. And then we have our the Gullah Bible, and this is really amazing because the Bible it's the New Testament, but we all call it the Gullah Bible, and it was completed in 2005, and it took. They started it in 1979, so we were excited about it. And the year after that, that's when they did the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor.
Yes.
In 2006. So.
Yeah. And this is the brother you were talking about.
Yes, this is Dr. Lorenzo Dow Turner. Okay. It's really interesting because he became fascinated with the Gullah Geechee people after he was teaching at South Carolina State College, and he came upon two students from Johns Island, and he asked them, "Why? I'm not familiar with your dialect. Where are you from?" And they were like, "Oh, we're Gullah Geechee," and he said, "Where is that?" They were like, "Johns Island." So he ended up eventually getting a recorder, which are that time were massive pieces of equipment, and going down in South Carolina and Georgia recording people. And then he started eventually learning African languages because it made it easier for him to understand the linguistics of Gullah. He's considered the father of Gullah studies. If you're studying Gullah, you cannot do it without having Dr. Lorenzo Dow Turner's book, Africanisms in the Gullah Dialect. Yeah. Africa to Emancipation quilt. This was the first quilt that my mother made, where she was talking about the Gullah Geechee.
Wow. Do you remember, I'm sure you do remember sitting up and watching her go to town making some of these quilts?
Oh yeah,
sure,
I mean,
right?
my mother was so talented, and you can understand her talent by the Michelle Obama quilt we have is a copy. It's much smaller than the original, which we donated to the Smithsonian. It's not on display, but they do have it in their collection. That one's a 90 by 90 quilt, and they only had, I think, 6 weeks to make it. A quilt that size is amazing. My mother had help from a quilting circle because there was no way you can do that in 6 weeks, and it's a beautiful quilt.
Absolutely. All right, got a couple more items down here.
Yeah, so these are some of the examples of some tools that would have been used by our ancestors when they were cultivating rice.
Okay, good stuff. Now let's get to the real good stuff, food, right?
Okay, so when they trafficked Africans to America, they also trafficked foodways. The Gullah Geechee, we call these bene seeds. Other people will call these, the Gullah Geechee call these bene seeds, but other people would call these sesame seeds. Rice, because rice was only cultivated in 2 areas in the world, Africa and Asia. Okra, lima beans, black-eyed peas, Ceylon red peas, peanuts. I don't have a picture of it, but watermelon, sorghum, all those came from Africa. So they were trying, the enslavers wanted to figure out what cash crop would work. So they were just experimenting with things stuff. How they figured it out? Sometimes with the assistance of enslaved Africans, because they all talk about, rice, came here, and they tried. A lot of them will evade the idea, but rice arrived with the Africans, and how they figured it out to cultivate it is they saw Africans doing little fields of rice to supplement their diet, and they were like, they looked at that and said, well, if they can do it, we can do that in a large scale. We just have to start trafficking Africans from the rice coast. And they used a slave port called bunts or bants to do that. And that's why, one of the reasons why the Gullah Geechee were able to retain their culture and language is because we constantly had Africans coming from the Rice Coast to primarily Georgia and South Carolina. So you had a concentration in a smaller area. There is also a 85% Black population during that time. So we were able to retain because of that. Also retains because of the isolation of the Sea Islands and coastal areas.
Talk about that real quick, if you don't mind.
So the isolation in the Sea Islands and the coastal areas was very important because that's what also allowed those communities to retain so much and still have so much today. That's why the Sea Islands are so important to Gullah Geechee culture, is because they have the most retention. And you know, there's a process called decolonization that's happening where we're losing more Gullah vocabulary and more English vocabularies, replacing it. You know, and of course, over time, cultural practices change, and we have that happening. But the great thing is we have, you know, documentation in audio of and written documentation of what we used to do in the past.
For sure.
And that's why museums like this one and all the other museums that teach and preserve Gullah Geechee culture are so important.
Absolutely. All right, Indigo, we got to get into it.
Okay, so Indigo. South Carolina had 3 cash crops. The first was rice. Yes, I know everyone thought it was cotton, but no, it was rice. And second was indigo.
Indigo right here, y'all.
And third was cotton. The Gullah Geechee, we primarily did Sea Island cotton, which was has long fibers and is a better quality than upland cotton. So that is the difference in most places where they did cotton, because the cotton we did was more expensive.
Yeah, I learned that first down at the Kingsley plantation in Jacksonville, and they talked about that. And then also the Sea Island cotton is what was introduced from enslaved Africans from South Carolina to Turks and Caicos again. And so it's just these through lines that connect the islands to South Carolina.
If in South Carolina, if you really want to learn about our experiences on a plantation, especially a Sea Island cotton plantation, you need to visit McLeod Plantation in James Island. It's the only plantation that I'm aware of in the state of South Carolina that is totally dedicated to telling the stories of enslaved Blacks and their descendants. There is nothing in the big house. You know, they're not going to give you the Gone with the Wind feel like some of the plantations here. It really is a plantation that should be visited. I mean, I want to go again, and I just went a year ago, and it was just amazing.
Absolutely, it is tight. I've
so
been there.
Indigo, it is credited to Eliza Lucas Pinckney for getting it cultivated, but it really, if she didn't have her enslaved Africans, she would not have been able to do the whole process of it, because her father sent people to help her with it, and they sabotaged her. So the Gullah Geechee, we feel that she had to involve enslaved African, because she did have a policy of teaching enslaved people how to read. Okay. So I think maybe she was like, I'll teach you to read if you teach me how to do this indigo. But, you know, there's no documentation of that, but we know what probably happened.
On. Absolutely.
And it, actually, I want to take you outside to show you what indigo looks like in real life.
Okay.
Because this is just a picture, but we actually have some indigo outside.
Yeah, let's do it. That quote unquote bartering service, right? Mm-hmm. That bartering of intellectual property, if you will. All right, so let's check it out.
So this is indigo.
Okay.
And this is indigo too. And then I'm just going to point out we got some sweet potatoes and okra out here because these are examples of foodways that the Gullah Geechee brought. So like the yam, we always hear people say yams and sweet potatoes and they're two different things.
Yes.
Yes. But in the United States, we don't have yams. We have, they're sweet potatoes, but they're called yams because the Africans would name things that looked like something they had
over
in Africa. Okay. So that's why we have
like
sweet potato yams, but they're the same thing.
Okay. And this is the indigo.
Yeah.
You see, I'll get a little bit closer, yo.
I'm gonna see who brought those. Someone brought those to me.
Yeah.
Those
People
are new.
dropping off gifts. We like gifts, right?
Yeah. Slavery. Is that indigo from you? The little in the.
Gay brought it over when you were doing the class.
Who did?
The woman Gay.
Okay. See? I'm getting gifts and didn't even know some more indigo, and they're seedlings, so I'm just excited by that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I gotta get some pots.
All right, dope.
Yeah.
Where we headed next? Midwives?
Yes. So, this is our midwife quilt. Midwives were very important to the Gullah Geechee and African American communities because these were our doctors and our nurses, along with root doctors. Actually, and this is very personal to me and my family because this is dedicated to my grandmother, Anna Smith, who was a midwife. And actually, the birth certificate on here was actually signed by my grandmother.
Oh, wow. What year is this?
1957.
1957, and your grandmother signed it. Anna Smith, right there. That's tight.
Yeah. So midwives eventually got trained at the Penn School. At the Penn School, they trained the midwives to deliver babies, even though they already knew how to do it.
Right.
Sterilize cloths, rags, and equipment by boiling it on the stove, and the importance of hand washing. They incorporated this with their knowledge of traditional healing and remedies to treat their patients. And so this is a wall of some of our folk medicine that we used.
Okay. Blackberry root, button, snake root, china berries, cottons, mint,
yeah, so the cotton,
everything.
The cotton was one of our examples of our resistance to our enslavement. Enslaved women would use those to prevent or stop a pregnancy. Because they, at what point do you get tired of having your child taken from you?
This is true.
And so they would chew the root of the cotton. If they were found with cotton root on them, they were severely punished. And then, root doctors, by the way, the reason why they're called root doctors is because many of the plants that they used, it was the root of the plant. So that's why they're root. So many of these we still use today. Life Everlasting tea is it's a wild herb that grows in the coastal Carolina from Georgetown to Beaufort counties. Life Everlasting is a versatile plant. The leaves were dried and crushed to brew to tea, used as a painkiller to treat menstrual cramps and headaches. Boil it with button, snake root, pine tar, and lemons, and drink it to relieve decongestion. Now, during COVID, all my elders swore the reason why they never got COVID is because they drank Life Everlasting tea with a little bit of brandy or whatever they preferred every night, and they didn't get it.
Yeah,
so,
you got to have that extra, right? Got to have the extra. If you don't mind going into the rice mortar, please. Because this is so crucial and a centerpiece to the culture.
With rice cultivation, women did the work of the planting and harvesting it. Men did the dikes and the trunks to help with the irrigation systems. So I'm gonna get some rice.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
So this is Carolina gold rice. This is what made South Carolina the wealthiest colony. I think about 8 of the most wealthy families at one point lived in South Carolina. Carolina gold. So it grows. First thing is, before they could even cultivate the rice, they had to clear a maritime forest. So they had to clear trees. And then after clearing trees, and that's even making sure the root was gone, the trunk was gone. Mm-hmm. They had to, and that took about, for one field, it took seven years to clear.
Mercy.
So it took a very long time to clear to land. So it grows in stalks like this high. Mm-hmm. So they would, once it was ready to harvest, they would cut it down. They would put it on the ground. Mm-hmm. They would take a flail and beat it. And after they would knock the rice off of the stalk, they would take it and put it in the mortar. And then they would pound it. Now, you're not randomly pounding this, okay? Right. You have to be skilled, because if if they broke the rice, they couldn't sell it to Europe or Asia, because at one point the Carolina gold rice was even being sold to Asia. So the broken rice, that was actually, they would end up giving to the enslaved people. So you had to be very skilled to do it. Mm-hmm. And they would break it up, and that was to try to get the husk off.
Yes.
And then after they got the husk off,
it's called winnow?
Winnowing, yeah, they would winnow it. They would put it in in a fanner basket. And then they would do it like this. Mm-hmm. So the husk is lighter, would float away, and then the grain of rice would fall into this.
Yes. Okay. Now, is this during the time period, this artifact during the time period of enslavement?
Okay. Truthfully, can't tell you.
Okay.
Because my parents did not document, but the Georgetown County, we were cultivating rice up until the 1930s.
Okay. So this could be, okay, gotcha. Yeah. All right. Out of many one people, this is very interesting. David Tennant. How long have you all had this piece?
Oh, God. My dad got it in the 80s at a flea market. And it's a beautiful piece. It's in the shape of Africa. Yes. And it has multiple faces in the front and the back. The piece is extremely heavy because it's made out of a hardwood ebony. But we really can't find that much out about the artist. Okay. So if anyone wants to help us out and find some information about David Tennant,
there's the name,
sculptor, that would be amazing.
David Tennant, holla at me, and then I'll holler at her. All right. What about shrimping and things such as that? Okay,
so the Gullah Geechee culture, the land and water are very important to us. In fact, the style of fishing we did, which is cast net fishing, is directly inherited from our African ancestors. This is an example of a cast net fish in net. And in this picture, the gentleman is either repairing or making a net. Okay.
And this was Will DeReef.
Willie DeReef, he was...
Pawleys Island.
Yeah, and he was a boat maker. And actually, we were very fortunate. Someone just recently donated one of his boats to us.
Oh, a whole boat? Are we going to see it? It's
yes.
outside? Okay.
No.
Uh-oh. Got it? Look, it's better for her to tear it up than me, y'all, because I ain't got no money to pay for it.
Oh, he put them all. So let's just go this side.
Oh, okay. Right here.
So this is the boat.
Yeah.
And it was handmade by Willie DeReef in 2010. We just gotta move it inside. It's made out of cypress. He can try to pick it, but he's not going.
I'm gonna test my strength, y'all. It's heavy. It's heavy. I like how you threw that gone in there. It lets me know you've been here. What year did Willie DeReef pass?
He passed either in 2015 or 2016.
Oh, wow.
Actually, him and my mom passed in a few months from each other.
Okay. Shout out to Willie DeReef.
Then we also have a picture of Robert Smalls because he's one of the most heroic Gullah Geechee because of his escape from his enslavement on the planter during the Civil War.
For sure, American hero. Good stuff. And you have a whole lot of different artifacts.
So this is Kalana ware, and this is our connection with the indigenous people and the Gullah Geechee, because we both did this type of pottery during the colonial period. This piece right here, though, is, we know this one was African, from African descent, because they did the X mark.
And real quick, so I just left Riverside, which is a former plantation in Louisville, and they have the X's on some of the bowls and other artifacts there that were created by enslaved humans.
Yeah. So that is
that's their signature. If
yeah.
you will,
Well,
right?
there's a signature, but also the X marks the spiritual and medicinal practices. In much of West and Central Africa, earthenware pots were used for medicinal and spiritual practices. On South Carolina plantations, some captives workers used the pottery as containers for preparing herbal medicines and marking the charms. Some of these colonial parts are marked with an incised X or other marks signifying their spiritual importance. Yeah. The X is associated with the ritualistic symbol known as the cosmogram, which typically takes the form of a cross and represents the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, with a watery barrier separating the world of the living from the spirit world of those who have died. So that is, part of our continuation of traditional African religions. Michelle Obama has heritage from Georgetown, South Carolina. And her closest relative was her grandfather, who moved to Chicago during the Great Migration. And then we can go as far back as her great-great-grandparents. So this quilt is basically from the slave cabin to the White House for Michelle. You know, to check out the bottle tree, because that's an important part of our hoodoo. So hoodoo is spiritual and cultural practices that include elements of traditional African religion, Islam, and Christianity. Just a quick fact, the majority of enslaved Africans arrived and they followed traditional African religion. 30% though were Muslim. And you can see that with the Gullah Geechee, with we have Arabic words, the ring shouting is a perfect example, and Bilali's diary are examples of us incorporating our Muslim heritage. But with the bottle tree, this is us trying to protect our homes from evil spirits. We do know that this dates back as far back as the 9th century in the Congo. Now, the Gullah Geechee, we use blue bottles. The reason why we use blue bottles is because evil spirits are afraid of water. So the blue bottle represents water. So the color blue is a color of protection and power. An evil spirit at night will enter the blue bottle, get captured because they think they're surrounded by water. Then the sun would come up and kill the evil spirit. But if you're paranoid, you would take the bottle off, cork it, and throw it in a body of water to ensure that the evil spirit was dead. And the blue color also is linked with the haint blue.
Yes.
Haint blue is the ceiling of porches. They would paint blue so an evil spirit cannot enter their home. Another example of hoodoo would be we would protect our homes from a hag, which is a evil spirit that would take their skin off. So we would put salt on the entranceways of doors and on windowsills because that would protect them from entering your home.
Absolutely. This has been such a great history lesson for sure, being down here in Georgetown. And I asked you a question earlier, and we have to get ready to run because we have some folks in here. But I asked you a question earlier about the differences culturally or just what makes Georgetown stand out from some of the other low country cities and towns. And what is that for you?
Georgetown, the really amazing thing about Georgetown is we've been able to, we have a lot of settlement communities along the Black River. So we still have access to the rivers because of property owned on the rivers. Also, Georgetown, we have such a strong history in rice because, we cultivated rice for the longest period of time. We cultivated the most rice in South Carolina. We have Sandy Island, which is a freshwater Gullah Geechee island, where they were able to preserve songs, and they sing and preserve songs differently than other Gullah Geechee communities.
Okay.
Everyone thinks that every Gullah Geechee person is going to be the same. Well, the Gullah Geechee community in Georgetown is a perfect example of why you should visit other Gullah Geechee communities besides Beaufort,
Sure.
Hilton Head, and St. Helena and Charleston, because we show different aspects of our culture.
Excellent. So tell people how they can find you.
So I want you to visit the Gullah Museum
Absolutely.
in Georgetown, South Carolina. We're 123 King Street, Unit 6, Georgetown, South Carolina, 29440. We do have a website, GullahMuseumSC.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. And we do have a YouTube playlist that is, if you're interested in the Gullah Geechee, you got to definitely check it out. It's Gullah Museum SC playlist, and it should come up have like 160 videos on it for you to check out.
Nice. Well, listen, it was a pleasure spending some time with you today. And I will leave that information in the description of this video. So like I always tell you, if you like this type of content, please to make sure to subscribe and share.